What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another Three Geeks conversation. Jason, Destiny, we're joined today by Jeremy Sumpter. Jeremy, how's it going?
How are you? Pretty good, man. I mean, ready for 2026, I'll tell you that.
I hear you.
Absolutely.
So, my first question I like to ask is, what was the journey that made you want to be an actor?
Okay, so I was born in Northern California, up in Carmel. My parents, my dad's from Monterey, California. My mom was from Kentucky, however, and she was a Russian linguist in the Air Force up in Fort Ord. And she met my dad. They got married, had me and my twin sister and I, and then moved us back to Kentucky to raise us. And then we had my little sister, and over the years, I would prank them all the time. I would pretend I had a knife in my back and go all out. Twister was my favorite movie. I'd always acted out, and yeah, no, I've always wanted to be an actor since I was a little kid. And this opportunity came up called IMTA. My dad was an Emery, was a freight truck driver for Emery Worldwide, and and so he heard this advertisement on the radio called IMTA, International Modeling and Talent Agency. And I auditioned, my parents auditioned, my sisters, and sure enough, I got picked, and I trained, and I went to California for the big convention after 4 months of training and acting and modeling and all that, and just killed it, rocked it. Won preteen male model of the year, and I met my manager, Mark Robert. Well, he's retired now. My previous manager of 25 years at IMTA. And 6 months later, my dad and I were moving to California to go. And my second audition was for me. So I went into the audition, wasn't so good. And she's like, "Thank you, Jeremy. You have a great day." When you hear that, that's like, okay, it's done. Anyway, I'm 10 years old. I go over. Before I walk out, I turn. I look back at her, and I walk to her, and I get right up in her face, and I said, "I'm the one you're looking for." And the way that I said it, and she said there's something about the way I said it, and she believed it, and so she says, "Okay, come back and be better tomorrow." And I did, and after 4 or 5 times of that, I put my Frailty. And she told my dad at the rap party, she goes, he said, when he came to the audition, there was no way he was going to get this role. But when he said, "I'm the one you're looking for," and he made me believe it, and he was right. And after that, my career took off.
That's awesome. So can you tell us more about that first role? Kind of like how that start meant to you?
So it was a learning experience for sure, for both me and my dad, because here it is. All of a sudden, I booked the lead role in a movie with Bill Paxton, Matthew McConaughey, and I'm one of the main leads for my very first role, and it was awesome. And if you ever find yourself, so they just did a huge re-release of Frailty, and we had a screening of it at the theater down in Santa Monica. He just did Lionsgate just did a re-release of the 4K version of Frailty, and in the box set you get the script, the director's notes. It was Bill Paxton's directorial debut, so it was his first time directing, and so he also played my dad in the movie. And so, you get the whole director's notes, all of the script in there. It's pretty badass. Bill Paxton, he was my favorite actor growing up as a kid from Twister. And then sure enough, I'm working with him in my first movie. And what's even crazier is a few years later, after I did Peter Pan, I did Soul Surfer, and I ended up working with Helen Hunt. So I got to work with both Storm Chasers from Twister, and Bill and Helen. And then even crazier, a couple years after that, I'm playing one of the lead roles in a storm chasing movie where I'm the storm chaser for Warner Brothers called Into the Storm. So it literally came full circle. It was crazy.
That was going to be a question of mine. Hearing that Twister was one of your favorites, is that kind of what inspired you to audition for Into the Storm?
Yeah, originally I didn't get the role because I was a little too old for the brother. I went in for one of the brother roles, and they're high school, and I was just past that age. I was too old, but I told him the story of, like, again, I went in there and I was like, look, I have to do this movie because, like, if it wasn't for me, if I wasn't an actor, I would have been a weatherman growing up or a storm chaser, and I do storm chase. I have a very strong love for weather, which in California you get boring sunshine every day, and that's just, I don't like it. I need storms. I like chasing weather, and so I told him that story of, like, and I took the camera off the tripod because it's a found footage movie. When she said action, I walked over and I took the camera off the tripod and I picked the camera up and I started doing my scene like this. Hey, yeah, so this is my room, and I went out in the waiting room with the other actors and they're like looking at me, and I had and I walked back in and I handed her the camera, said thank you, and said there you go. and I told the story of that, but no, they actually wrote that role in for me because of that. Again, I was like, a moment where, if I didn't do what I did, then I wouldn't have been in a storm chasing movie, which is a bucket list movie for me. I have a handful of bucket list movies, surfing, golfing, storms, westerns, and World War II movie. Those are all my bucket list movies, and I have been lucky enough to mark off every single one of them except for the World War II movie.
That's coming. That's 2026.
That's just yeah, exactly. That'll be this year, hopefully. So I can finally mark off my next bucket list movie. But no, it was cool. It's cool how everything kind of came full circle, and now here I am about to have my directorial debut this year, where I'm having my directorial debut, and I'm starring in the film as well. And with no other than Rachel Hurdwood, who played Wendy in Peter Pan.
Absolutely. It's Strawberry Roan?
Strawberry Roan, yeah. Strawberry Roan is a type of horse.
Perfect.
But
yes.
So it's going to be a nice, fun rom-com.
Perfect. Is there anything you can tell us about it without getting in too much trouble?
Well, right now the script is we're in development right now. Early on, I'm trying to get the movie start shooting first week of April, and we put everything on the line, and I do whatever it takes to give my wife her dream, and that is because she had a Strawberry Roan when she was a little girl, and she grew up with it and it passed away, and it just really made it sink. So I'm like, okay. So I find one, and it's in Mexico, and we embark on this road trip from Portland, Oregon, all the way down through California into Mexico to go to this ranch and buy this horse. And we put all of our savings, and as it turns out, like, it cost everything we had just to get down there. We couldn't even buy the horse. So anyway, I'm telling you too much.
Yeah.
But it's awesome. It's gonna be a fun movie to do.
Absolutely. How exciting is it to be able to work with Rachel again after all these years?
Really exciting. In fact, her and I are doing this con in April too. So we're all working together. But
that one's in Atlanta, right?
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna be in Atlanta doing that, and that's gonna be fun because that's gonna be our first one together. And
that's cool.
Yeah, and I haven't seen her in years, but we've stayed in touch, and I'm excited. She is too. And the thing is like, I got this other film coming out this year that's going to be huge, Miami Nights. So during that time, I'm going to be trying to film Strawberry Roan, and at the same time, I'm going to have to do a tour thing with Miami Nights, the film I did with Terrence Howard and Jeremy Piven. So, it's gonna be a busy April.
Can you give us any insight to Miami Nights?
Yeah. It's a fun ride. You guys are you're gonna love it. It's a cool movie. I play a Marine in the military, and I save Terrence Howard, a journalist, and but at a lot of cost. And then I struggle to get back into society, and I end up getting in neck deep with the cartel in Miami, and it's an action film, and
Sounds good.
it's gonna be awesome. Yeah, Jeremy Piven's great in it. Terrence Howard is great, and my leading lady Sidel, she's great. It's a good movie. I watched it. It's a lot of people are gonna love this movie.
It sounds like it's got a great cast.
Great
I do,
cast.
I do have two things to ask you about before we let you go. And one of those things is, what was it like landing Peter Pan? Like, what was that process like?
Okay, so growing up in Kentucky, I was known as Peter Pan because all my little buddies and stuff in the neighborhood, I was their leader, and all the moms in the neighborhood would look up, say I was known as Peter Pan and my Lost Boys, and I was Peter Pan and they were my Lost Boys, and they did anything and everything I asked because I was, anyway. So it was just crazy that came about because I was always, it was like destiny. It was like I was made for that movie. And my mom, like, you got to get him in on this. And so the audition process was, we didn't hear nothing for months, but then I go in there and to meet the director, and he's asked, okay, so you're going to do a British accent. And I'm like, nope. He's like, why? I said, because I don't feel like it. And I said, but watch this. And I started climbing up the door frame, and I flipped out and did a backflip off of it, and the guy's like, oh my God, tell me he can act, he's perfect. And he flew me to London to audition with Jason Isaacs, but apparently I already had the role, but I just didn't know it yet. And so he just wanted to get used to his Peter Pan, but I thought it was gonna be me and a few other people just doing this audition. It was just me. And he draws his picture of Peter Pan at the airport in Paris after we were in Paris for a couple of days. He goes, who is that? I said, it's Peter Pan. He goes, no, it's Jeremy Sumpter. You're my Peter Pan. And I just went nuts. I'm like, oh my God. Making that movie was one of the best years of my entire life.
It looked like you guys were having fun in the movie. I just watched it for the first time today, and it looked like you guys were having a blast.
Oh yeah, dude. And she was my first love too, Rachel. She was my first love. We were in love with each other. We thought we were gonna get married, everything. Yeah.
That's awesome that you guys are reuniting though so many years later to make this movie. That's so cool.
Yeah, I've been planning to do something like that for years, for her and I to just come together again and do a movie, and it's great that this is the one that we're doing it on, and it's my directorial debut as well. So it's just, I wouldn't have had it any other way.
And congratulations on that.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's gonna be a fun 2026. I'm excited for it.
It's going to be exciting. So you have a daughter now. Has she seen Peter Pan?
Yeah, I've put it on for her, and she's watching. She's like looking at me like, very confused. But she'll be 3 in April, and my niece, she gets it. My niece, she knows her uncle's Peter Pan. But Lucy, she doesn't really, she doesn't understand it yet.
Not comprehending it.
She does like it.
That's good. Fun fact.
Have a crush on her dad.
Yeah. Hopefully not. That'd be a little weird, but the rest of the world did. Did you know that the crocodile from the movie still exists?
No, I didn't.
It is on display in St. Augustine at the alligator farm right out front.
No
Those
way.
are my kids in front of it.
So that's the crocodile from my movie.
It's the one from your movie, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Where is this?
It's in St. Augustine. It's the alligator farm.
Oh my
God. They have it out front.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
They have a whole sign up that talks about filming. It was pretty cool to see.
That's pretty cool. Does he have a clock still in his stomach that goes tick tock, tick tock?
He didn't have anything else. It was just him, but it was still really cool.
Yeah, they should put a clock in it. You know what I mean? Hear the clock ticking.
At least like a sound, right? A speaker hidden.
Yeah. That's cool. I have to go check that out.
Absolutely.
I know Destiny wants to ask about Friday Night Lights, but before we go, and before she asks about that, I have to know what it was like working on Clubhouse, because I thought that show was great.
Oh man, I cried my eyes out when that show got canceled. I was like, I became so close to everybody. Here's the thing: it's like that's still one of the things that sucks, that I don't like it about the industry, is that I become so close to so many people, and then it's like the movie's done. I'm like, where'd they go? But that movie in particular, it was like a family for like 11 months. I thought it was my new home, and the movie or the show just got preempted because the presidential debates, and it was the year that Boston finally broke the curse and won the World Series, and so it got lost. But it was great. I love baseball, and my dad almost played in the majors, and so it was a great show, and I was sad for it to get canceled.
Yeah, it was a great show. I just want to tell you that. I thought it was fantastic. You were great on
Thank
it. The whole cast. You had an amazing cast for a network television show.
Little
at the
Pete
time.
Young. Pete Young, the Bat Boy, the New York Empires. But yeah, no, and Friday Night Lights too. I loved working on that. That's a great show in itself too, and I just wished that Clubhouse had its chance, and because a lot of people loved that show, it's just that they kept moving it around and no one could find it. They would change it to another day because, but it's CBS, and if you don't have it, it had 10 million viewers the first 3 episodes, but then it got pushed for 2 weeks because of the presidential stuff, and so no one could find it, and so they just got rid of it. But yeah, it was a bummer because the cast was great, and I loved working with all of them.
Well, Jeremy, we won't take up too much more of your time. I want to say thank you for coming on. Where can everybody find you online?
Well, my Instagram is Jeremy Sumpter officially, as well as my Facebook page, and my Twitter, X. I don't really go on that much, but it's Jeremy Sumpter, and I'm now getting back into TikTok. And that's the Jeremy Sumpter.
Awesome. And everybody keep an eye out for those films that are coming up soon. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and we'll talk to you soon.